Previously, in the last chapter. Fionel, the first murder suspect of Duke Calcion's ex-fiancée assassination, met Selena coincidentally outside the castle. Selena got scared when she was threatened that she will be killed. The atmosphere was tense. Selena was preparing to run for her life. But thankfully, Duke Calcion arrived at the scene. Selena hurried to the Duke's side and relaxed since she isn't in danger anymore. Duke Calcion asked Fionel what happened. But Fionel kept avoiding his gaze and refused to answer. Selena and Fionel got into a verbal battle until they are tired to explain the situation. Afterwards, Selena asked Calcion to carry her to defeat Fionel and make her jealous. Fionel tried to follow them but was completely cut off. This is Selena's win again this time. Then, Selena explained to Calcion about what happened and that she was threatened by Fionel. After discussing their plan onwards, Selena was preparing to go to her room to sleep. However, she realized that she has to stay in Calcion's room to avoid rumors, since they are pretending to be lovers. The two of them froze at the idea until the servants came in and prepared them for the night. The maids were making suggestions to Selena and Calcion how to spend their night together, which further led them to great awkwardness. Selena had no choice but to adapt despite the awkward situation, and decided to sleep beside Calcion. They had a little conversation since they can't sleep right away, because they are too nervous to each other. The two of them finally went to sleep until it was already morning. Bright light reached her closed eyelids, and Selena drowsily woke up. However, her eyes popped up open when she saw that she is currently hugging Calcion. Selena needs to find a way to deal with this another awkward situation. Continuing the story, it was the body of the Duke Calcion that Selena was holding instead of the pillow. Despite her anxiousness, Selena thought that it feels good in Calcion's arms, but she immediately came to her senses. She tried to free herself from him as if he was a lock. However, it didn't work out. Selena met Calcion's eyes that were staring down at her. In an instant, heat rose to her entire face. Selena's plan failed. As he looked down at her red face, Calcion quietly released her shoulders. Selena quickly rolled over in the opposite direction, but what was the use? To hide her embarrassment, Selena pretended to sleep again. Calcion quickly told her that it's useless, because he knew she woke up already. Selena spoke that she should really sleep on the left side of the bed next time. Calcion smiled and said that he will keep it in mind. An announcement came at the castle that a noble lady named Rosalind had arrived. Selena and Calcion were already waiting to welcome the new guest. Fionel was the daughter of a count, while Rosalind was the daughter of a marquis. Selena asked Calcion how difficult it will be to handle Lady Rosalind compared to Lady Fionel. It was bound to be a big and luxurious party today. To both welcome Fionel and Rosalind. As soon as Fionel heard Rosalind was coming, she ordered the maids to help her prepare her dress. After such preparation, Fionel came and joined them to welcome Lady Rosalind. It's a common etiquette to welcome nobility as a sign of honor and respect. Selena found it funny that Calcion can't do anything to Fionel's clinginess. Fortunately, Rosalind arrived soon. As she slowly stepped down the carriage steps, she gave off a fragrant scent of flowers. As she stood in front of Calcion, her calming smile deepened and Lady Rosalind greeted Calcion. It was as if spring season had arrived sooner, but somehow she had the illusion of the air getting cold. Duke Calcion also greeted back Lady Rosalind. As they exchanged pleasantries, Fionel and Selena were also standing beside Calcion. However, Rosalind's gaze never left Calcion. It was hard to not notice Fionel's eyes, full of hatred, glaring at Rosalind. Lady Rosalind bowed down with a smile, while secretly giving off a glare towards Fionel. The way Rosalind looked at her was not much different from when she was gazing at Calcion. It seemed as if she had met an old friend again. However, Rosalind's every word pierced like a hot blade. Though ostensibly affectionate, Fionel was once again accused of being lame for not appearing in a tea party without a word. Selena gulped as she understood the hidden meaning in their conversation. Selena thought that she could learn a thing or two on how the nobles talk, especially in a sarcastic way. Fionel was also formidable. She wouldn't stay still when she was constantly being drilled, but it seemed as though she was holding back for some reason. Lady Rosalind was also amused. Rosalind told Fionel that she also came here because she is worried about Fionel, though it wasn't like that at all. Fionel snorted, turning her head sideways. Rosalind continued to tell Fionel her main goal of coming here. Lady Rosalind and Lady Fionel continued their conversation for a while, and casually insulting one another in a roundabout way. Rosalind was completely the opposite image of Fionel, causing them to easily get into a fight. However, Lady Rosalind never gave a glance towards Selena until the end. If a woman, whom Rosalind had never heard of, was standing beside her in a fancy attire, it would be obvious what position she was in. Assuming that, Rosalind ignored Selena, as if she didn't want to bother herself with people like her. Fionel's expressions were always transparent and easy to read, but this one was difficult. First of all, Rosalind was at an even higher status than Fionel. However, for Selena, it wasn't that difficult. Selena looked up, hugging Calcion's arm tightly. But her question was directed towards Calcion. Moreover, Calcion's introduction about Selena didn't help at all. Selena took the lead and introduced herself, so that no more questions would go to Calcion. Lady Rosalind naturally shifted her eyes to Selena and asked which noble family is she from. Selena replied that it doesn't matter. Rosalind's reaction was lukewarm, even though she tried to maintain her smile. But the question that followed immediately was directed at Calcion. Lady Rosalind was basically saying that Selena is a trash. That wouldn't be picked up. Calcion replied, but he was not used to making useless excuses. Rosalind continued ridiculing Selena while saying some fancy words. Selena frowned at being called a hunting dog by Rosalind, even though she is in front of her.
You're going to have to train her. This isn't an ordinary matter. She's living right under the roof of the Duke's mansion.
While saying that, Lady Rosalind gave Selena a provocative look. Selena was getting really annoyed with Rosalind's sheep talk, and thought that it's time to fight back. Selena, slightly raising up the corners of her mouth, is used to these kind of antics.
Is there any need to train such a beautiful dog for hunting?
Selena interrupted and retorted while smiling sweetly. Selena decided to beat Rosalind in the game of words. She also added that she just needed to do nothing but be beautiful while being with Calcion.
Interesting.
Obviously, Lady Rosalind's snarl implied that she was annoyed, but then she quickly hid it with a smile. Rosalind shifted towards Calcion and requested for breakfast. Duke Calcion agreed, but Lady Rosalind seems to have a different thing in mind. Lady Rosalind pointed at Selena, indicating that she wants to have a meal with her. Selena had no reason to refuse it either. It would be as if she was attending a nobleman's party. Fionel didn't miss the chance to be alone with Calcion, and started acting chummy towards him, with Fionel following behind Calcion. The scene was left with Selena and Rosalind. Still, Fionel was quite annoyed because Calcion quickly ran, leaving her behind. Flowers fell off her hair. As she angrily walked through the corridor, Selena found it cute. Now that they were alone, how would Rosalind behave? Selena expected an unknown gentle voice. However, while Selena was mulling in her thoughts, she was caught off guard. Lady Rosalind suddenly kicked Selena, without caring about her nobility. Selena's back hit a pillar in the corridor, as she was pushed by Rosalind. Where did she get that strength from? Her whole back was ringing. Before Selena could even finish her sentence, Rosalind's hand hit the wall beside Selena's head. The honorifics came out of her mouth itself. If it was Selena's head instead of the wall, there would have been a hole in her skull by now. Lady Rosalind asked Selena how much. Her menacing look was unladylike. It was appallingly beautiful, except for her eyes and her expression, which seemed vicious. Chaos ran inside Selena's mind. Rosalind repeated as she asked how much would it cost for Selena to leave Duke Calcion. Lady Rosalind was clearly implying That Selena is with Calcion for money and she can buy that. Her tone was so different that Selena wondered if there was a certain button on her body that changed her attitude. Selena retorted that she isn't targeting Calcion's wealth. Nevertheless, Rosalind pushed onto Selena that she will still be ripping off Calcion's money.
But let me tell you, even the largest amount in your world would mean a penny in ours. So, tell me, how much do you want?
Lady Rosalind was reluctant to believe her. Ever since the mine was discovered, countless young ladies sought the position of the Duchess of Lenbert. The riches of the Duke of Lenbert was enough for the opposite party to spend their life in heaven. Selena can only play along with Rosalind's attitude.
How much can you give me?
Selena raised her chin in a haughty manner. As a matter of fact, she didn't know how money was counted in this world. But it wasn't necessary for her to know anyway. Lady Rosalind stumbled, panicking at her totally unexpected reply. Rosalind had never got a chance to make a deal in her life before. For Rosalind, who was embarrassed for being shaken up by someone of no status, Selena once again strengthened her reinforcements and challenged Rosalind to buy 100 fancy dresses same as hers. Selena thought that the dress she's wearing have exceptional value, since Calcion's mother wore it. Lady Rosalind's expression shook once again. Rosalind seemed to have known about this dress too. Selena didn't know about the currency of this world yet, but she could tell this type of dress was obviously rare. Still, Rosalind replied that she can afford it, so Selena was tempted. If Selena didn't have the hope of returning to her world, she would have accepted her offer right away. Unfortunately, Calcion's offer was better, as he already promised her to send her back to her world safely. But she couldn't back down and be honest with herself in this situation. Lady Rosalind seemed to have gotten angry because of Selena's greediness and shamelessness. Selena didn't mind it and continued egging Rosalind to give her enough money to leave Calcion. Rosalind's expression became relaxed, as if she was sure that Selena wouldn't be able to deny her. A grin made its way to Selena's face while she thought of something.
Then, I want the Duke's heart.
Selena spoke without holding back. In an instant, the surrounding temperature dropped by about 10 degrees. Rosalind's cold eyes froze Selena's bones. She replied in a low voice, freezing the surrounding air. Selena wasn't overwhelmed, and replied calmly that she wasn't joking at all. Selena spoke that she want them all. The position and the Duke's heart, and Rosalind should match the price. Lady Rosalind cursed under her breath, since Selena can't seem to understand. Lady Rosalind told Selena if she wants to die of her own greed. Because of the mine discovered the Lenbert's territory, many will covet the Duchess' position to the point that they will kill for it. Rosalind emphasized that Selena shouldn't even compete, because she has no power or money. However, Selena saw a different perspective from this. Why would Rosalind say that Selena shouldn't even try to compete? But Rosalind herself wants to take that position. The composure was also erased from Selena's face. This was the second time she got a death threat. Selena had a hunch that neither of them was using the words in a light tone of intimidation. Selena thought that Rosalind believes herself to be safe from assassination, either because she has the power to protect herself, or she could be the murderer. Rosalind did not seem to be aiming for Calcion. In the end, this means that Rosalind is one of the main suspects who killed Rel, Calcion's previous fiancée. Selena replied and regained her composure that neither identity nor wealth is important in such encounters for her. Rather, Selena reflected the question back to Rosalind that Rosalind already have everything. So why would she still want the Duchess' position? Nevertheless, Lady Rosalind insisted that there is something else that she needs, but she didn't elaborate about it. Rosalind stared at her with her cold eyes, as Selena released a heavy sigh. Selena's mind became dizzy. She couldn't see through Rosalind's goal. It was evident that Fiona just wanted to be with Calcion, since she likes him. However, Rosalind was different. Selena couldn't exactly see what her intentions were, even though she was sticking around Calcion.
I'm warning you now, it's not worth dying for nothing.
Rosalind turned away, leaving words that might be a curse or a warning. Selena was watching Rosalind while being occupied with thoughts, as she went further and further. Still, it seemed as if her motives were invisible. Time passed by and it was already evening. The dinner was served as scheduled. A wide variety of dishes was kept on the long dining table, enough to fill up one with just one bite. Until now, Selena had all her meals alone, but right now, she will be eating with other people in another world. The sumptuous feast was to welcome both Fiona and Rosalind, who have noble statuses. However, Selena doesn't know the nobles' table manners. There were dozens of dishes, and each dish had a different manner of eating. After some moments, Selena gave up. It was more embarrassing to imitate in a clumsy manner. She ventured to grab any dish that seemed good, but she did not copy the others. At the same time, the two women sitting across the table, who were wearing thick fancy dresses, gradually shifted their eyes towards Selena as she put the bread in her mouth. Lady Rosalind began berating Selena's table etiquette. Selena glared at her. However, Rosalind added that Selena's manner of eating must be from beasts from the mountains. Lady Rosalind smiles condescendingly, without hiding her hostility towards Selena. Selena thought of arousing chaos like a beast, but she decided not to as they were in front of food. Rosalind's words lengthened and disturbed Selena's silence, as she continued her shots. That Selena is no different from a beast like Fionel's pet, if she didn't how to eat like a human. Fiona squeaked out. She laid down the tableware that was halfway to her mouth, frowning heavily at Selena. Fiona sided with Rosalind this time and spoke that she and her pet eat separately, since they are not the same. She is basically comparing Selena to her pet, and also to a beggar in the side of a road. Rosalind fired a backup. The enemy of my enemy is my ally. This was what they were following at this moment, adding insult to Selena's wound. Rosalind became superficially and sarcastically empathetic, as she said that she accepts Selena's behavior with an open mind. However, what they didn't know is that Selena already expected this typical attitude of theirs. Selena smiled and fired back at Rosalind. She told Rosalind that if she is a beast, she will not be eating breadcrumbs, but as Selena spoke while trying to imply something, she suddenly slammed and stabbed the meat on the table. Lady Rosalind was baffled and scared by Selena's sudden outburst. Selena then continued that she would rather bite and tear Rosalind's neck since she is a beast. As she said that, Selena held the bloodied piece of meat with a smiling but threatening look. If they were beasts, Selena and Rosalind would have bitten off each other by now. Afterwards, Selena shifted her eyes towards the terrified Fiona and told her not to worry. And that's because Fiona is small and skinny, so there's nothing to eat. Selena looked like a barbarian while eating, but she didn't care at all. Selena was laughing inside once she saw that. Fiona got really scared but thought it was cute. Fiona, fierce but not highly combative, quietly curled up and rolled her eyes. It wasn't a place for herbivores like her. Still, Lady Rosalind managed to regain her composure. Rosalind went to comparing Selena to a wild beast, but this time, she is describing Selena's physical appearance. Selena isn't one to be reckoned with. She immediately replied and fought back. Although Fiona was a strong herbivore, who could even stab a wild beast with her horns, there was no need for her to intervene in the fight between the wild beasts. Rosalind was also subtly hinting that Calcion picking up Selena is something unbelievable. Selena thought that she could make Rosalind act not so noble-like, same as her, but she was wrong. However, a voice suddenly intervened their squabble. It made the room silent. A big wave shook off the calm atmosphere at the word of Calcion. Lady Rosalind is Thailand Kingdom's princess. Calcion then told everyone that Lenbert and Thailand's relationship in the past. Lenbird Kingdom already proposed marriage to Thailand back then, when the gold mines haven't discovered yet, but Thailand refused. Calcion just pointed that out. Rosalind tried to reason, but it didn't convince Calcion. It was the first time Selena heard about this, but she thought it was funny. Calcion told that Rosalind's status is inconvenient for him. He rather wants to slay monsters than engage in politics. Calcion said that while staring at Rosalind with unshakable eyes, before slowly resuming his meal. Moreover, Calcion added that he is more comfortable to be with a wild beast, referring to Selena. Because of that, he brought back things that no one else knew, and attacked them first. Rosalind couldn't speak up. Selena broke in with a grin on her face, and pretended to be tactless, as she said that she is compatible with Calcion. An alliance between the two of them was formed to defeat Rosalind. Of course, no one laughed at her, except for Calcion, who chuckled at her joke. Calcion finished off that he won't be having a closer relationship with Thailand. Rosalind frowned. Her momentum was also dampened as she judged there was nothing else she could do to win. Rosalind shifted her topic and began discussing her real purpose of coming here. She signaled at her servants who were waiting. The servants, whom Rosalind gestured at, came to the room holding a box full of letters from nobles in the capital. Selena's eyes didn't miss noticing the displeasure on Calcion's face. As the lord of Lenbird territory, Calcion had no choice but to handle these paperworks. Rosalind's white flag of defeat was, of course, a disguise because she got revenge at Calcion from this. Selena can't help but be amazed by the ton of letters. Time passed by and it was already nighttime, as Calcion was finished working with the letters. Calcion was prepared for bed and was sitting on the sofa, in front of the fireplace, looking at the letters in the box. However, he seemed to hear that outside his room is still loud and lively. It was actually the maids who were laughing and giggling together with Selena. Selena finally entered Calcion's room after talking and being pushed by the maids. As Calcion unconsciously lifted his head, his face hardened at her figure. Selena pressed her facial muscles as hard as she could to avoid having a flushed face. She is wearing the night dress that the maids kept egging her to wear. Even though she was embarrassed, Selena kept her act and told Calcion that the maids recommended the dress. However, Calcion did not seem to care about her expression. Hot and intense eyes followed her with every step she took. Due to the nature of the garment, parts of her glowing skin were exposed as the fabric swayed. Selena thought that it was only her who was embarrassed, so she tried to gloss it over. Selena approached and sat on the sofa next to him. Her eyes dropped to the letters in the box. Selena kept refusing to wear this sexy night dress, but had no choice because the maids might get suspicious. As Selena turned her head towards Calcion, she saw a very unexpected sight. Calcion, who always showed no emotions, is displaying a different side of him right now. Calcion's slight reddish earlobes caught her eyes. Selena was embarrassed as well as surprised that Calcion had really reacted. What approach would they take to address such an exceedingly uncomfortable predicament?
That's all, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be posting more videos about good reads you may like, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you soon.